As the temperature starts rising, I feel that familiar urge to refresh my closet, but I'm not wasting money on pieces that I'll only wear once or for just one season. Quince changes that. Their clothes are timeless, lightweight, and far more elevated than anything else at this price. It finally feels like my wardrobe matches my standards. Like 100% European linen shorts and dresses from $30, luxe swimwear, Italian leather platform sandals, and so much more. The best part, everything with Quince is half the cost of similar brands. By working directly with top artisans and cutting out the middlemen, Quince gives you luxury, but without the markup. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. For example, my favorite thing to get right now, 100% organic cotton cropped cardigan. Get it in vintage rose. Give your summer closet an upgrade with Quince. Go to quince.com/Kate Casey for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Kate Casey to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Kate Casey.
How much do I love dogs? This much. You can't see because this is an audio ad, but I'm holding my hands really far apart to show that I love dogs an awful lot. You know what else I love an awful lot? Care Credit. You can use the Care Credit credit card to pay for your dog's vet care or for your own dental, vision, and more at over 270,000 locations. Care Credit offers flexible financing for health and wellness for pets and people. I give it 2 thumbs and 3.5 paws up.
Visit carecredit.com to apply and find a location near you, subject to credit approval.
Welcome back for another episode of Reality Life with Kate Casey. Today's episode is about the extraordinary legacy of Sally Ride, as told in the Disney Plus documentary, Sally. You guys, I'm telling you, this is an absolute must-watch. Sally Ride made history on June 18th, 1983, when she became the first American woman to travel into space, riding aboard the Space Shuttle Challenger. At just 32 years old, she was also the youngest American astronaut to fly in space at the time. A physicist by training with a PhD from Stanford, Sally joined NASA in 1978 as part of the agency's first class of astronauts to include women. Her role on STS-7 included operating the shuttle's robotic arm, conducting experiments, and deploying satellites, contributions that demonstrated her technical skill and calm under pressure in a male-dominated field. While her historic flight captured national attention, Sally was never comfortable being cast solely as a symbol. She valued her work as a scientist and educator above celebrity. After leaving NASA in 1987, she went on to become a professor at the University of California, San Diego, and co-founded Sally Ride Science, a company focused on promoting STEM education for young people, particularly girls. Throughout her post-NASA career, she remained a steadfast advocate for making science more accessible and inclusive, authoring several children's science books with partner Tam O'Shaughnessy. Sally was intensely private, and it wasn't until after her death from pancreatic cancer in 2012 that the public learned about her long-term relationship with Tam, marking her as the first acknowledged LGBTQ+ astronaut. Her decision to keep that part of her life private reflected the time she lived in and the complex pressures faced by high women in STEM. In the years since, her story has only grown more resonant, representing not just a breakthrough for women in space, but also the quiet strength of someone who chose to live authentically, if privately. The Disney Plus documentary Sally brings new light to her legacy, highlighting not only her pioneering spaceflight, but also her enduring impact as a scientist, teacher, and trailblazer for equity in STEM. Through rare archival footage, personal recollections from Tam, and insight from former colleagues and historians, the film adds essential texture to the story of a woman who broke barriers, inspired generations, and continues to symbolize the power of curiosity and of courage. My guests today are Sally's partner of 27 years, Tam O'Shaughnessy, and the executive producer, Lauren Cioffi. Here are my interviews. The first thing I want the two of you to know is that when I watched this, by the end of it, I was quietly sobbing. My husband walked through the room and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I don't think I am." I thought this was so beautifully done. I think I'm forever changed from hearing her story. And What a spectacular project. So I just first have to tell you, I really loved it so much.
That is so great to hear. That's, it's just wonderful. And it does seem like people are moved by the film and also inspired at the same time. Anyway, it's incredible. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That means a lot.
I kept wrestling with, she just never really liked attention. And how would she feel about this? What do you think?
I'll start and then Cioffi can come in. I think she would like a lot of it. I think she would love seeing herself as a young woman and her friends and colleagues at NASA. That would just be such a treat. And I think she would be happy that our relationship is really in a big time way out in the world. And then I think she would not be as thrilled with the analysis of why she was the way she was. But, that's because her basic nature was private. And yeah.
And then I kept thinking what she accomplished just by the age of 32. Did she have a sense of pride in what she had accomplished?
Oh, yeah. Oh, she was enormously proud to have a PhD in physics, especially from Stanford, because Stanford's known for their physics department. They have many Nobel Prize winners, and, it's just big time. And she was very proud of being a physicist. And she was beyond proud to be the first American woman in space. She just, she loved that accomplishment. She loved the experience. She loved her crewmates. So, yes.
Well, then also I felt like she could have possibly been a professional tennis player if she'd even pursued that. Was she just one of those people who was just great at everything?
Well, she was good at tennis, but she wasn't great. And that's why she didn't pursue it, because she knew the truth. Sally was a very good athlete, and she was a very good tennis player, but not on the level of professional tennis. She was too small, not strong enough, and she didn't really have like one big weapon. She was good at everything in tennis, but that's not enough. Sports are really tough to make the leap into the pros. I learned the hard way.
Do you think that the athleticism required for tennis and all the life skills that come with playing a sport contributed to her success in science?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it contributed to her, well, first of all, I think that sports, and there's statistics on this too, I think it's something like 95% of female CEOs in America have played competitive sports, some sort of sport, because you just learn life's lessons, how to win, how to lose, how to persevere, how to be disciplined, how to work hard, all of that. And it's good in no matter what field you go into. And I also think her tennis background and her athleticism helped her be selected and made her sort of stand out when, there were more than 8,000 men and women applying to become astronauts in 1977. Mm. Yeah.
Well, I think that at first what we could do is if you, Tam, could just talk about the first time you met her and what it stood out for you. And then if we could talk a little bit about how the project began. So first, tell me what it is about Sally that connected with you. And then for you, Lauren, what connected with you in terms of wanting to make this project?
Good questions. So Sally and I met when we were really young. I was 12 years old and she was 13. So we were kind of on the cusp of teenage years. We met at a junior tennis tournament in Southern California, boiling hot day in Redlands. I don't know if you've ever been.
Oh, yeah. Well.
Orange trees everywhere. And anyway, but it's a great place. And there was a nice junior tournament there every year. So Sally and I were both standing in line to check in to the tournament desk for our first round matches. And she was ahead of me in line. And I was just, kind of slightly nervous, getting ready to play my match, go check in. And then I see this young girl ahead of me, a few girls ahead of me in line. And she's standing on her toes. And then when the line moves forward, she's walking on her toes, kind of like a ballerina, ballet dancer. And it just cracked me up. So I started laughing. And this girl turned her head, and it was Sally Ride. And I'd seen her at other tournaments, but I'd never met her. But she saw me laughing. And, it kind of gave me a look, and I just said, you're standing on your toes, you're walking like a ballet dancer. And then she started laughing, and that was the start of a beautiful relationship, a beautiful friendship.
Isn't it so nice to escape to a place that truly feels like yours? I was planning to update my backyard, and there's just something about a beautiful outdoor space that's so satisfying. It's like your own backyard oasis. Wayfair's got everything you need to level up your outdoor space. They have patio sets and lounge chairs, outdoor bars and hot tubs, fire pits, gazebos, and of course, string lights. It's so easy to have a one-stop where you can make over your entire space with a resort feel without that resort price tag. I looked at patio chairs and lights, and it felt like they had every color and style. And then I placed my order, and it came back so quickly, much faster than I would have expected. So now, here I am, with patio furniture that is so relaxing in my little oasis. No more huge delivery fees for patio furniture. You can get big stuff and more shipped for free. So don't wait. Make your outdoor space your dream oasis today with Wayfair, and you can enjoy it all summer long. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop a huge outdoor selection. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair. Every style, every home.
If you're an NBA or WNBA fan who loves keeping up with pop culture, you've got to check out the Six Trophies podcast, presented by Aura. In this weekly basketball show, hosts Jason Concepcion and Shea Serrano comb through the spiciest news from the past week, handing out 6 pop culture-themed trophies to 6 basketball-related activities. Like the 6 Cents I See Dead People trophy, given to the player with the biggest comeback of the week. Or the Denzel Washington in Training Day trophy for the most dominant performance of the week. And if upping your personal performance is on your mind, our sponsor Aura can help with that. Aura Ring gives you personalized updates about your sleep, stress, activity, recovery, and more, all from a sleek smart ring. So you can win the Hacking Your Life Better Than Bradley Cooper and Limitless trophy. Check out 6 Trophies, presented by Aura, wherever you get your podcasts.
And then, Lauren, for you, in terms of making this project, what stood out for you about Sally?
Yeah. I initially joined this project through the director, Christina Costantini, who I had loved her 2 previous films. I just thought she was such a bold, kind of emotional storyteller that I thought she would do a beautiful job with this film. So I came on board to work with Christina, and just being queer producer myself, I was really excited to kind of help shape the queer love story in the film and kind of work with Tam. And we had this exciting opportunity to work with Tam as Sally's life partner, which felt like a real gift for the film. So I was really excited to kind of help shape those elements for the film.
Now, you have a couple that plays you, and you do a really beautiful way of, it's sort of like kind of faded, so it looks like an older video. How fun was it to cast the characters? And was that kind of trippy to see your life play out in those scenes?
The first time I watched the film, kind of reviewed it, I didn't know that there were going to be the recreations with the actresses. And so it was a bit of a surprise. And it just took me a while. It's almost like, because I knew it was supposed to be Sally and me, it's almost hard to look at it. Because it was just this, my brain just did this turn off. But I think they worked, and I think that they were an important part to the film, because there isn't, when Sally and I grew up, when we became a couple, we both weren't really photographers. And so there's not that many, quite a few, but there's not that many photographs of us. There is some video, but not very much. And so, and especially when we first got together, and it was just so, intense and passionate, there's no way to describe that or get that across. So I think the recreations really helped people the viewer sort of get that it was kind of, a typical and wonderful, very passionate falling in love and romance.
What was it like for you to finally be able to share that part of your life with the public?
Well, I had shared it back in 2012, but not in this big way with National Geographic documentary films and Christina and Cioffi and, for the world to really understand the story and to be such a large part of it. It was wonderful. It's sort of freeing. And I also think it's so important, especially, we didn't know when the film was being made that it was going to be so relevant as it is today with the current climate in our country and all these basically horrible things that are going on. But it just felt great. And I thought it was important to have a documentary that would be sort of part of the historical record for Sally and my relationship.
Do you think she would have been surprised that she became this accidental advocate, well after her, the end of her life?
Probably, because she basically, when she retired from NASA, she actually thought that her celebrity would just slowly disappear, and it never did. Her entire lifetime, she was given wonderful opportunities to do things that she was good at, advise presidents, and speak about space exploration and science education, the importance of science education for all students, not just gifted students or students who love science. And then, so she was always surprised. So, and now, because of the forever stamp, the United States Quarter, all these things have happened, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, all these awards and recognition have strengthened Sally's legacy. And I think she'd be surprised at all that.
That is the moment when I really lost my mind crying, was the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I can't imagine how rewarding that must have felt for you, while also mourning her loss. Can you take me back to that moment and what that felt like?
I remember it because part of me just wanted to run away. It was just so much to take in. And it was such a special, it's an amazing honor. It's the highest civilian honor in our country for Sally. But at the same time, I was just so honored and so proud to be the one accepting the award, to have that kind of recognition from President Obama. It's impossible to imagine that happening today. But, Obama was smart enough to realize that allowing me to accept the award as Sally's longtime partner would send a message to the world about the values of the United States of America, what we believe in, that we truly believe in freedom and equity for all people.
Now, when that obituary was published and 27-year relationship was revealed, walk me back in time and the reaction that you were getting. Because I think a lot of young people are going to watch this and can't even imagine what that must have been like to keep a secret, and then the reaction that came with it.
Yeah, we were smart enough. We had a company. So we had, we're now a nonprofit, but we started out as a company. And so we had employees, we had a tech team, we had a creative team. And so I made sure that a few people knew that Sally was dying, and started writing the obituary. And we were ready. We had already, Sally's, one of the co-founders of Sally Ride Science, there were 5 of us, Sally, myself, and 3 of our great friends and colleagues. One of them, Terry McAtee, was assigned to reply to any phone calls, any email messages, anything regarding the company, Sally Ride Science. And then Bear, Sally's sister, Bear Ride, was assigned to any any private, personal friends, colleagues, that sort of thing that were getting in touch. I didn't talk to anybody. I couldn't. But it was a crazy day, and it was just, unbelievable. But Bear and her wife, Susan, were at the house. One of the co-founders of the company, Karen Flammer, was at the house. One of my best friends, Betsy Butler, was at the house. So I had support. And then once the obituary, it basically went viral. And then all these calls, all these messages came in. But fortunately, I was protected. So the messages got handled however they got handled. But then I started receiving letters from people around the country. And not a single one of them was negative. Not a single one was homophobic, or that people were just so proud and so happy that we were together that long. They thought it was amazing and wonderful and rare. And that Sally had somebody that she truly loved and that was in a committed, loyal relationship with, a long time. So it was just, and I heard from kids I played tennis with when I was a kid. I heard from Sally's astronaut friends. I heard from senators. It was just an outpouring of love and respect for Sally and I. And it was absolutely overwhelming in a good way.
Mochi Health is here to help you start your weight loss journey with caring, personalized support. Meet one-on-one with board-certified obesity doctors and registered dietitians who truly listen and understand your unique needs. Eligible patients can access affordable GLP-1 medications delivered right to their door each month. No insurance? No problem. Mochi Health accepts FSA and HSA, making care accessible and affordable. And with 24/7 customer service, you'll never feel alone on your path to better health. Get started with Mochi Health today. Take the free quiz at joinmochi.com and use code AUDIO40 at checkout for $40 off your first month of membership. That's joinmochi.com with promo code AUDIO40.
This is Nick. And this is Jack. We're best friends, ex-finance guys, and resident 90s experts. And every week on our podcast, The Best Idea Yet, we're bringing you the untold stories behind your favorite products. For instance, can you guess which billion-dollar fashion company went viral thanks to a rhinestone-covered tracksuit? Or which cartoon turned 4 turtles into a global toy empire by accident? It started as a joke. Last one. Which cold beverage was so hated by Starbucks, they actually ended up acquiring it? Spoiler, the Frappuccino. Howard Schultz apparently thought cold coffee was super lame, and then he bought it. From Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to Juicy Couture to the Orange Mocha Frappuccino. Join us every week to learn how your favorite things got made. Follow The Best Idea Yet on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. And you can listen early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus. And if this podcast lasts longer than 45 minutes, call your doctor.
When you watch this back and you see her own colleagues saying, I was misogynistic, what do you think she would have thought about that? Acknowledging their behavior and how they may have treated her.
Yeah, Sally never really held grudges. She just took things as they came. And usually if things were negative, it was like water off a duck's back. She'd just discard it and move forward. I think she would be very proud of Mike Mullane, though, for writing he wrote me a long letter, and it was just so honest and open and loving. It was just amazing to admit that he was, a male chauvinist pig, as he said in the film, or something like that. And that he learned from his granddaughters that, he wanted them to have all of the opportunities, all of the equal rights as any young boy. So he finally got it when he was older. So I think, she would be proud of him for doing that.
I was so glad you included that part. And I really think it says a lot about the grace that you've given people in the process of really understanding in time her role in advocacy, in for young women, for young people who are struggling with their own identity or sense of identity, and also for young people who are trying to find their way in an industry that may reject them. How have you been able to get to that place where you're able to give people such grace?
Well, I owe it to Christina and Cioffi for shaping the film the way they did. And the messages in the film are just so universal and so powerful that, I feel like it was really on their shoulders and their brains that came up with a way to make this beautiful film. It's hard for me to take credit for that, but I do try my best in every endeavor that I have to try to encourage young people, boys and girls, and adults, all of us. Just because we're getting older doesn't mean we don't have dreams and aspirations and all sorts of ambitions and everything. It doesn't change. And so it's just really important for people to try to be true to themselves and do exactly what they want with their one little life.
Did you find that challenging, Lauren, weaving in these two really important stories into one, the importance of inclusivity?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say weaving the two storylines in the film, both Sally's NASA journey and the love story, was probably the greatest challenge of the film, but then also the thing that was we really wanted to do from the beginning. So, that was a process that we just kind of really focused on throughout the edit. And once we met Tam, and she was just such an incredible storyteller, just so detailed, so open, so vulnerable, we knew that Tam could really be the lead narrator in the film to help the audience understand both their romance and also try to help us get a little bit closer to understanding Sally, because she is such a closed off and complicated person. And I think she really helped us kind of access some of that. So we really kind of helped to use Tam's voice to kind of bring us back and forth in between, kind of this emotional world and Sally's like professional world, and bring them closer together.
She was so passionate about inspiring young girls, especially, to pursue STEM. How do you see her influence continuing to shape STEM education today?
Well, our company's now a nonprofit, Sally Ride Science. We're based at the University of California, San Diego. So our programs that we developed over next year's our 25th anniversary. So, I'm just incredibly proud of that. And I know that Sally is smiling up in space, realizing that, the company that she dreamt of, that we all work so hard on, is alive and well. So I think that's one aspect. And then I just think that she's become an icon. She's become a person that hopefully stays in the textbooks, in kids' books. They learn about her, and that helps inspire and promote STEM. Sally, actually, many times it's misquoted, miswritten that Sally was trying to get young people, especially girls, to become scientists or engineers or mathematicians. But actually, what we really cared about was that young people, boys and girls, are scientifically and mathematically literate, because it's so important in developing critical thinking skills and being able to make informed decisions about their health, their community, the planet, you name it. So that was really, so I hope that is sustained, through Sally Ride Science and other endeavors.
And how can people find out more information about the program?
We actually have a really quite beautiful, colorful website, Sally Ride Science. So they can actually, Google sallyridescience.com and they will find us, or .org now.
Do people ever doubt her name? Are they like, is this for real? Like, is this like a stage name? Like the fact that it's Sally Ride?
It's the perfect name for what she became famous for. It's crazy good.
And we just had so many puns throughout the process of making this film with Sally Ride that it was endlessly fun.
I was like, if they tell me at the end of this, her name was really Sally McAfee, I'm going to lose my mind.
Sally Jones.
Exactly.
Jones.
And then, Lauren, where can people find you?
You can follow me on Instagram at Lauren Cioffi. And learn about new projects that I'm working on.
I'm telling you, if you don't win an award for this, something's wrong. Like, I will protest. This was so good. Like I told you, I wept. My kids were all walking through the room. I can't wait to share this with my girls. I have 4 girls and 1 boy, and you have done a spectacular job. And thank you so much for what you've done.
Thank you for having us. It was a true pleasure, Kate.
Thank you so much for having us.
A few hours after my interview with Tam, imagine my surprise when I got an email from her. She asked that I include this extra insight at the end of the interview. She says, "Dear Kate, you asked a very good, insightful question at the end about how Sally's STEM advocacy legacy lives on for future generations. Yes, Sally Ride Science carries on her mission, and mine, to encourage and inspire girls and boys to become literate in science and math, so they develop critically thinking skills, and thus can make informed decisions about their lives, their health, their community, the environment, the planet. And so does her iconic status in America and the world. But the much more relevant and important reason is the thousands upon thousands of girls and boys, men and women, who have been touched, encouraged, and inspired by Sally over the decades by her example of integrity, smarts, humor, commitment, and hard work. Because they have followed in her footsteps, be true to yourself, follow your interests, follow your heart. Never let anyone try to tell you what you should do with your life or whom you should love. Those girls and boys, women and men, inspired by Sally, are now the leaders in science, education, business, sports, politics, everywhere. Best wishes to you and your vitally important podcast. And I thank Tam. What an inspiration. I hope that you enjoyed this documentary so much as I did. And this is such a fantastic watch for the kids at your house too.
The amazing Kate Casey.
I want to thank my fantastic guests and remind you to click subscribe. Please leave a 5-star review. Join the Facebook group Reality Life with Kate Casey. You can get bonus episodes on Apple Podcast and Patreon. And also you can be subscribed to the What to Watch list by going to katecasey.substack.com. Finally, make sure that you follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram at @KatecaseyCA, TikTok it's Kate Casey, and Twitter, Threads, and Blue Sky at Kate Casey. Check back tomorrow for an all-new episode.
Not sure if you have the experience to start your dream job? Good news! These days, it's the skills that count. Udemy can help you get those in-demand skills. Want to be an AI mastermind? Learn with us. Game developer? We've got you covered. AWS certified cloud practitioner? We can help you prep. You'll learn from real-world experts who love what they do so that you can love what you do. Go to udemy.com for the skills to get you started and get set for your dream job.